Hi everyone, so today's video is going to be a Draw My Life Pet edition. I'll warn you in advance, my drawing is absolutely dreadful and you can laugh at it if you really want. So it all started off when I was age 4 and my sister was age 6, and we both decided we wanted a cat. Now, I'd always been fascinated by animals, especially horses, but I never actually wanted any of my own until I was about 4, where I realised I'd like a pet. We asked our parents and they replied with no. And we sort of left it there. We didn't want to pester them, so we didn't ask much more. And then randomly, when it came to my sister's 7th birthday, she just sprung upon my parents that she wanted a cat for her 7th birthday present. And my parents were shocked, but they did smirk. So we were like, ooh. But they said, see the surprise after school and you'll see what your present is. So we went to school, and then we went to Greek school, which was an after tuition to learn the language, and we were waiting outside for our parents as they were late, and we were wondering where they could be and what the surprise would be. Then the car turned up and we got really excited as we saw the car coming, and we did wonder what would be in the car, which is our surprise. We opened the door and there was a little carrier, and inside it was a tiny, tiny kitten. This kitten my parents got from a rescue, and we called her Kiara. She was a tabby. She was 8 weeks old. She was very small, and she was my sister's best friend from then on. We had her for 4 years really happily. And then one day she just decided she didn't want to come home. We shook the treats for ages and she just didn't turn up. And we both got worried, but after 6 months we realised that she wasn't coming back because she didn't come back in 6 months. And one day we were still in London eating our dinner at the table, and a really fat cat turns up at the door and we had a bit of a heart attack. And we all shouted Kiara because it was her. She was a beast. She must have found another family somewhere which gave her more food because she was really, really fat. But she came home for some more food, so we fed her. And me and my sister went to bed as we were young. And then we hoped she'd be in there in the morning, but my dad let her out because she wouldn't stop meowing. So then we thought we'd move to Cyprus. Obviously Kiara had found her home, so we didn't have to worry about rehoming her. We moved to Cyprus because some of our family were there, and we found a lovely house with a swimming pool and lovely garden, and we really liked it. And one day my parents were out in the garden, and then they saw the estate agent, who we are really good friends with, drive past. He got out the car and came with a little cardboard box, and my parents were a bit confused as to what it could be, and then he offered a kitten to them. And my parents replied with yes. They wanted the kitten, they did. They missed our old cat, so we all wanted another cat, and we were super happy with this decision. And then this is how we got Marie, and she was a pure white with blue eyes kitten. She was the most stunning creature I've ever seen in my life. I don't think there was even possible to have such beautiful cats, and she wasn't even a specific breed, not that we're aware of. And she was found in a cardboard box on the side of the road. She was abandoned. So we were very, very blessed to have her, and we named her Marie after the Aristocats because she looked just like that little pure white kitten in the Aristocats. We had her for 3 weeks happily, and then one day we went to my grandma's and she disappeared. We don't know whether she got eaten by a fox, she got stolen because she was so beautiful, or anything else. We were super sad, but we did get over it after a few months. I then went to school and I didn't really like it. I had no friends, and then I met this girl called Tiggs, funny enough, and she said to me, would you like to come round my house, can we be friends? And I was like, yes, obviously. I jumped at the chance. So I soon became friends with Tiggs, best friends with her, and I loved going around her house because she had 7 cats, which was super exciting. She had a cat called Rover and a cat called KJ, and you'll understand in further on you'll see why that's important. Her parents then told her they had to move back to England because her dad worked for the RAF and they kept moving all the time, and her 7 cats would need a home. And me and my sister were super happy because we were going to take on 2 of her cats, which is obviously really exciting for us, but she was super upset about it, and she gave us her 2 cats, bonded brothers, Rover and KJ. Rover was a grey and white, and he was adorable. He was super gentle and just a lovely pleasure to have. And KJ was short for Kangaroo Jack. and he was feral and quite vicious, and but he was nice. He just needed trusting. But he did make me cry on several occasions because he always scratched me. We then got our third kitty, who was Stripes, and we found him under the car. He was a teenager and he was abandoned as well. He was long haired, he was super fluffy, and he was ginger, and we called him Stripes because of the amount of stripes he had. He was very, very friendly, and we all adored him. We then decided to move back to England again, so we were very upset because we had to leave the cats behind and find them a home, but we knew the perfect person to give them to. So we went and took them all on a carrier together, and we handed them over to our estate agent. Now, we were really good friends with this guy, and he was happy to take them because the cats keep away the snakes in Cyprus, so that's why most people are very keen to have cats, including my mum. So we moved back to England, and I was still very upset about leaving the cats for quite a while, and I didn't have a cat in England for a while because of the road, so it was super sad when we lived in a different house, not the house we're in at the moment, by the way. And then I decided that I was going to start looking on the internet for another pet that I can keep that doesn't involve being worried about the road, and I looked on hamsters. And this is where I found YouTube. I found YouTube and I was watching videos hours and hours trying to find the information all about hamsters, and then my 8th birthday came along and I decided I'd like a dwarf hamster for my birthday, and I got one. I got a Russian dwarf called Tess. She was dark in colour. Don't know the name for that one. Is it Agouti? Not sure. She lived in a critter child cage, which is awful, but she did have free range of my bedroom every night. I always had her out. And she lived for 1 year, 9 months. Considering her care was awful, that is pretty good. Don't know what that was there. I don't know what I was trying to draw. And then we got Misty 6 months later. I just wanted another one, and my parents said okay, and she was in the critter trail for a few weeks, and then we moved her to the Savick Cami because the critter trail broke, and that was exciting because she finally got to get a normal cage. But then she started bar chewing, so we had to get her another cage, which was very annoying, especially to my parents, but I didn't mind. We got her the Zoo Zone 1, and she loved it. She was in that cage for a while. Then we decided we wanted another cat, so we popped off to the Blue Cross. That's us all feeling sad because we don't have a cat, and then so we decided we'd go to the Blue Cross and get one. And the Zoo Zone 1 meant that Cat couldn't get to Misty, so that's partly why I wanted one as well. So we went and we found a tabby who was Bengal, who was 4 years old, and that was Ozzy. And then on my 13th birthday I wanted another cat, and hamster I mean. I wanted another hamster, and we went and got Mickey, and he was my hybrid. So Misty was happy in the Zoo Zone 1, Mickey was happy in the Savick Cami, and Ozzy was doing okay as well. Everything was going well until we had a huge trauma with Ozzy. He didn't come home for 3 days, or I think 2 days, and we all knew that he wasn't coming back because Ozzy never ever left the house. He would never leave. And one day, me and my sister came back from school and both cars were there. That meant my dad was home for work, which isn't usual for him on a weekday. So we popped up and we saw both my parents were crying when we opened the door, and they told us the news and we literally screamed and clapped to the floor, especially me. I was absolutely heartbroken. It was ridiculous to think 1 minute he was with us and the next minute he was dead. He went in a car and he got concussed. The car engine went on and he bashed his head. Anyway, we buried him in a cardboard box, which was his favourite toy in the world, and we buried him in the garden, and we sat by his grave for several hours. So we were really unhappy, and it just wasn't going well. Then I decided to get a Zoo Zone 2 and move Mickey from the Savick Cami to the Zoo Zone 1 and Misty to the Zoo Zone 2. And we also decided to get another cat because I really wasn't grieving well and I needed another cat for company. And this is where we got Tix, our tabby, who was 3, and we took her home the next day. We really liked her, and also I had zoo zones now, so I didn't have to worry about a cat getting to them. We made a great bond, and we still have a great bond. So we've had Tiggs for a while now, but she's doing really well, and as a pair we're doing really well. Then one day I went to go and check on Mickey, and he hadn't eaten, and I scatterfed him, and there was no food, so I was really shocked, and I called my parents to come and have a look, and they opened the, well, not opened, they lifted the bendy log bridge, and there he was on his back. He looked like he just had a heart attack, and he had passed away. He did that night, but I came back very late that night, and I didn't check on them. I just scatterfed them, and then went to bed, and that is when he passed. So Misty was doing okay in the season too, and we went on holiday, and she was fine. And then Tiggs went missing, which was a pain in the bum, and we were really, really scared and worried. So we decided we had to go and get her a friend, because next time we go on holiday we don't want her to get lonely and run away again. So we went off to the Oxfordshire Animal Sanctuary, and we went to go and collect a cat. We went, and there were sheds, and there was about 10 cats in each shed. It was pretty diabolical. And that's where we found Ralphie. He was so nervous that he'd never had human contact before in his life, but we adopted him. He is called Rupert in this, but we changed his name to Ralphie. And him and Tiggs are working on their relationship. He adores her, but she can't stand him. But hopefully they'll be good companions for each other when we're on holiday. So now we happily have Tiggs and Ralphie. And I did say Misty in this, but she isn't alive. However, we will have a new arrival soon, and I'll be explaining that all in my next video. But anyway, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. We'll see you next time. Bye!